Hello, this is Dan Norton, streaming on March 12th, 2025. I just started streaming a few minutes ago, around 5:11 p.m. This is my new recent venture into the streaming world, which I started, I think, almost a week ago. And I'm still learning things, figuring out how to optimize the system. And it's getting smoother and more streamlined every time. So, uh, so it looks like someone else popped in for at least a few seconds. And I will be putting a Zoom link so that if anyone wants to join me on Zoom, you can do that. But you can also just interact with me through the chat. So let me copy the Zoom link. Oh, actually, let me do one thing to test my audio. Make sure it's coming through my phone. Let's see. I'm not sure why this link is not working. Let me go to the. I try to watch this on my phone through the live tab. The video doesn't play. But okay, if I go into the history section, let me try clicking on the link there. I think that's going to work. Watch this on my phone. Yeah, that works. Live tab. Video doesn't play. Okay. So that's something I need to remember for next time. I know the sound is working. All right, we got someone else popped in. Feel free to say hi in the chat. Maybe I'll do what I did last time and put a announcement out on Facebook and X. But I think I'll give it another minute or two at least before I do that. I want to see how many people just show up from the YouTube algorithm. So I guess YouTube pushes this onto your feed. Your unless you just happen to be looking at my channel, you wouldn't have known that I started streaming. So I think it's more likely that people who found out about this now found out because this appeared in your feed. If you all want to, your main feed, like on the YouTube homepage, or maybe actually if you're subscribed to this channel, it might have shown up in your notifications. So yeah, that's another way you could have find out. I'm kind of curious. So if anyone in the chat wants to let me know how you heard about this, I would be interested to know. Like, did you find out because you got like on that little bell, the bell icon notification? Um, is that how you found out? It showed up in your notifications, or was it just in the general feed? Okay, nice. I see we got our first chatters of the day. We have John saying, "Hi Dan, be right back. Got to watch a rice video." Okay, you're learning how to cook some rice. All right, well, maybe you can let us know how that was when you get back. And then Carol Stoddard, hello Carol, says, "Hi, I have push notifications." Okay, so I guess that's when the little red number, the badge, it'll show up on the bell icon. It'll tell you how many notifications. I guess that's what you mean by push notifications. Feel free to correct your confirm or disconfirm that. Okay, Carol says you're subscribed to the channel. Thank you, Carol. Appreciate that. Anyone else who's subscribed? Thank you as well. Okay, yeah, I guess maybe it's more likely that you would get a push notification than it would just show up randomly in your feed. Because I guess since this is such a new video, it hasn't gotten much traction with the algorithm yet. So maybe you, by being a subscriber who has notifications turned on, that's kind of boosts the likelihood that the algorithm would um, send it to you. Whereas if you're not subscribed, it's pretty unlikely that it would show up in your just in your regular feed, I think, unless you just engage a ton with my channel, so the algorithm knows to show it to you. Um, anyways, all right, see we're up to 5 people now. Good to see. So, anyone else out there want to say hello or um, have any? I'm still figuring out like what kind of format I want to do with this. This is also new, so um, feel free to ask questions in the chats or just make comments, and I will reply to those. I'm not at a point yet where I can do super chats. I would eventually like to be able to make money from this, but I need to get up to 1,000 subscribers and have a certain amount of watch time before I can apply to YouTube to have my channel monetized. So I guess you can take advantage of the early days before I'm taking super chats. I'll answer questions for free. Um, I I don't know how long it'll take to get to 1,000 subscribers. Maybe being on live stream will speed up that process, increase the amount of engagement, and I, this will help me get there sooner. We'll see. Um, but anyways, I'm here to just chat and I'll answer questions for free. Okay, here's another question, text from Carol. I get notifications from YouTube on my phone's lock screen, and I was surprised to see that you were holding a live chat. How old was I when I discovered Ayn Rand? Okay, interesting. So I don't have notifications turned on my phone for the YouTube app, so I don't get those notifications on my lock screen. But it's interesting to hear how different people get their notifications and that you got it that way. Because I've never received any notification from YouTube that way. Just because for me it's a distraction to get notifications on my phone. There are certain apps which I don't mind being notified about as soon as there is a notification. Like, but for certain apps like Facebook, X, YouTube, I have the notifications only show up after I've logged into the app, which I have to click on it on my phone to get into it, or go on my laptop. It doesn't just automatically show up on my phone on the lock screen, or even have as a little badge with the number in the red um, on my home screen. But different things work for different people, and I modify things as time goes by to optimize what works best for me. Um, so I can understand why you were surprised to see I was holding a live chat because this is a very new thing for me. I've had my YouTube channel for over 5 years now. Um, it'll be 6 years in July. So what is that, 4 months from now? Yeah. So close to 6 years, but I only started live streaming less than a week ago. So that's why you might be surprised. This is a very new thing for me. Um, I wanted to try out a new format, and I mean, there's advantages to live streaming. Like I can have more engagement with viewers, instead of just having one person who I'm having a debate or a discussion with, which is basically what I did on my channel for the first 5 years. I can now engage with a lot more people by coming on here and talking to the chat. So I've done live chats before, but they've just been subordinate to a premiere of a video, like a pre-recorded video. Like if I debate someone or have a discussion, when I premiere that, it's a scheduled time. Like I would often do it at Saturday at noon Pacific, and then I would premiere my video of the discussion or the debate that would go on for an hour or two, and I would interact with people in the live chat there. But it wasn't that was just through text, um, where I was just another chatter. But now I'm engaging with you through video, and there's not some other thing going on like a premiere of a debate or a discussion for you to watch. It's just what's on the video. That is the engagement. And I guess it's it's more engagement in a way, than just doing some text while something else is playing. So I think there are definitely some advantages to doing it this way, and we'll see what effect it has. But um, I thought it was at least worth trying out. So that's why this is new, and you were surprised, I would guess. And you asked me how old was I when I discovered Ayn Rand. I was 17, close to 18. This was right after I graduated high school, which was in 97. And so it was that summer right between high school and when I went off to university. That's when I discovered Ayn Rand for the first time, back in the summer of 1997. So, how long has that been now? I'm 45 now. Um, and this was 97, so 25 plus 28 years ago. In this summer, it'll be 28 years since I first read Ayn Rand. Wow, almost 30 years. Um, Congratulations on going live, says Carol. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been enjoyable so far. This is my fourth live stream. I think the first one I did was Thursday of last week, and so far I've been doing them every other day. I don't know if I will continue that. I don't have I'm not committing myself to a strict regular schedule right now. Maybe at some point I will. And I'm also open to suggestions. So if you all out there uh, have suggestions on when or how often you'd be interested in a live stream, feel free to let me know. This is partly viewer driven. I guess if I were taking super chats, that would certainly incentivize me to do it more and more often. Um, but it's also just getting more subscribers and likes and watch time. That's also an incentive to do it more. So we'll see how it goes. And depending on how things go, I will decide how much of this to do. Carol says I was 13 when she discovered Ayn Rand. And she says my junior high school library has a copy of Atlas Shrugged in a spinner rack. Okay. You picked it up because a woman character was running a railroad. Okay, interesting. Now, did you read that on the jacket of the book, or was there a picture of Dagny Taggart on the cover looking like she's running a railroad? How did you know that a woman character was running a railroad? Maybe someone told you that about. I don't think I've ever seen a copy of the book with Dagny on the cover. So I'm guessing you either read about that, maybe on the book jacket, or maybe online there was some blurb about it, or maybe someone who had read the book just told you. The covers that were around when I first discovered Ayn Rand, it was a picture of Atlas holding the world on his shoulders. Those were the art produced by Nick Gaetano. He was the artist, I think. I think that's right. Oh, Carol says she read it on the back cover. Okay. Yeah, I remember those. I like those blurbs. Those are good. I think Ayn Rand might have had a hand in writing those. I think she might have I don't know, maybe she wrote it entirely herself or at least got feedback on it, but I seem to recall reading that she was involved with the copy that appeared on the book jackets. And I don't know how they might have changed over time, but I think at least at some point she was involved with that. There are certain lines from those that stick in my mind or phrases from them, like, this is the story of a man who said he would stop the motor of the world and did. I don't know if I got that exactly right, but something at least close to that is in the descriptions that were on the books when I first read them. So, so this is another aspect of live streaming that I'm getting used to is constantly talking. When all my previous videos before live streaming, there would always be someone else who was involved, like someone I'm having a debate with or a discussion. But this is just me, at least so far, unless someone else wants to jump on. Oh, I think that reminds me. I don't think I put yeah, I didn't put a link to the Zoom call. Let me do that right now. I'm going to copy the Zoom link and I'm going to paste it here into the chat so that anyone who wants to join me on Zoom can do so. Okay, let me just scroll up a little. Okay, there's the link. And I think you might have heard me say there is the link about 20 seconds after the link appeared because there's a delay. I don't know, maybe 20 seconds or something between when I speak and when you hear it through YouTube. But anyways, there is the link. So if anyone wants to join me on Zoom, feel free to click that link and let me pin that at the top as well. Oh, Carol. Okay, we got our first person. Okay, let me just pin this in the in the in the comment in the live chat. Okay, now it's at the top, so it should be easy for people to find. And I see Carol has entered the waiting room on Zoom. So let me admit Carol and get to know a new person. All right, admit. I just clicked admits. All right. So now I see Carol. Hi, Carol. Okay, I cannot hear you. So you will need to.
Sorry, I was muted.
Okay, great.
Common
Now,
Zoom flaw in my world.
what was that?
Common Zoom mistake in my
Yes.
world.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Sometimes I do it. So welcome. Nice
Thank
to
you.
nice to meet you. So you must be the Carol Stoddard,
Yes.
from the chat. And I don't know if I've ever seen you outside of my channel, like on Facebook or any other platforms, or is it only through YouTube that you've seen me?
Yeah.
Okay. So when did you first come across my channel and how did you see it? Or how did you find out about it?
It may have been Facebook. Because I used to follow the Atlas Society on Facebook.
Okay.
And that was probably I think that was it, but I'm
Oh,
not sure.
there was my name somewhere on the Alice Society webpage, Facebook page, or
I don't know.
uh,
I honestly, I don't remember. I don't know.
okay.
I don't know.
How long ago was that roughly?
5 years ago?
5 years ago? Okay, it's been a while then,
Yeah.
long time. Okay, interesting. It's always interesting to hear about how people came across my channel because I'm on a lot of different platforms. YouTube was, I think, the first platform where I started to be have a public presence. This was right at the tail end of graduate school in 2019. That's when I started my channel.
Uh-huh.
And then I was really only on YouTube for, I guess, about the rest of that year, 2019. And then 2020, I started to post on Facebook. I had a Facebook account for many years. I don't know
Hmm.
when I first got on Facebook, maybe sometime in the 2000s, like 2005 or 6 or 7. But
Hmm.
I didn't ever post on Facebook. I would sometimes go on there, but
Maybe it was YouTube because I was on YouTube. I was on YouTube in 2019. Um, I remember, um, I remember listening to one of your debates, and it was interesting. And that's all I really remember. I don't remember. YouTube might have YouTube might have put you in my algorithm, because I used to watch a lot of Reason videos.
okay. Yeah, that could be. Especially if it was, yeah, if it was before 2020, I'm pretty sure it wasn't going to be on Facebook that you heard about me.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of posting on Facebook, but I think 2021 is when I started to use it a lot. And also later that year, I started using Twitter. Um,
Hmm.
and then very recently, just like in the past couple weeks or so, I started to post on Instagram and TikTok. So
Ah,
doing a lot of new platforms or new things like new platforms and new forms on old platforms like the live streaming is a new form
yeah,
of engaging with the
great.
so you said you read Atlas Shrugged when you were 13. Okay, that was a while ago then I guess.
Yeah, that was 50 years ago.
Okay. And did you just read that one or have you read other stuff?
I've read everything she's written except for most of the nonfiction. And that's just because, as an adult, I've struggled with major depression, and it's hard for me to concentrate on nonfiction, and
Hmm.
especially when it's re requires a lot of brain energy. Um, I mean, I was having trouble finishing fiction, as you know, until about 3 years ago.
Hmm.
I've read all her fiction, and my husband knows more about objectivism and has read more books of hers and more books about her than I have. And I was hoping to lure him into this conversation, but he decided to take a bath.
Okay. Well, if he wants to come on later or maybe some other time, that's fine.
Mhm.
Um, Actually, while I've got you here, I want to just test some technical parameters of this. So I want to see if I can mute my guests. Not that I want to mute you, but just in case I ever need to mute somebody, um, could you just count to 10 and then like in the middle of your counting, like maybe 4 to 6, I will mute you and make sure that I don't hear that on my end and I guess on YouTube as well. Would you mind doing that for me?
Absolutely. No
All
trouble.
right, go ahead and count to 10.
Okay. One, two, three, four, 9, 10.
Okay, I think that worked. So what
Yes,
happened is,
you muted. Yeah, I got a notice that the host had muted me. And then I got a notice out that the host invited you to unmute. And
yeah, um, the second part, the muting was very smooth, but the unmuting, there was that little, for me, it felt like a glitch because it didn't just automatically unmute. First, it said ask to unmute, and then I clicked it again, and it really did unmute.
oh
So
no, I had to select unmute.
Oh, so you did something while okay.
I got a notice saying that you had invited me to unmute, and I had to select unmute and make sure I tapped the right word
Oh, okay. This is
on my.
interesting. So I guess that means if I mute someone and then they
They
will
will.
have to do something in order to unmute themselves. I can't just unmute them myself. I can only ask them to unmute, and then you'll have to do it. Okay. Let me try that one more time, just to now that I know how it works. And can we do the same exercise one more time? All right. Go ahead and start counting to 10.
One, two, three, 8, 9, 10.
Okay. Good. That was smoother. So you actually came back in at 8 this time instead of 9 because I was a little quicker on asking you to unmute now that
And I
I know
was a
what's going
little
on.
quicker at getting my thumb onto the word unmute. You get
Okay.
the message I got says the host invited you to unmute. And then there's the word stay muted. The words, I
Mm,
should say, stay muted. And then underneath stay muted, there's the word unmute. And you have to tap one of those.
I see. Okay. Good to get all that recorded. Now I can listen to this later. If I forget how it works,
Mhm.
it'll all be recorded. I see three little dots here next to the mute button on my end. I wonder if that gives me, oh, okay, that lets me stop the video, it says.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to do something similar. Like if I try to restart the video, is it going to ask you to start it? And then you'll have to click something again. You mind if
Yeah.
I try that?
No, not at all.
All right, I'm going to hit the stop video. Okay, now it just shows your avatar, the picture. And let me see if yes. So now I see it says ask to start video. So I guess in a second when I click this, it's going to give you another option. So let me click that now. Ask to start video. Okay. So it gave you two options again.
Yeah.
And okay. Okay, very good. I'm glad I know how this works. Now if I get some crazy person who comes on here and they
Shouting,
start
Karl
saying,
Marx was right. Ayn Rand was wrong.
yeah, right. I know how to make them disappear. Um, yeah, I want to be able to control that. So excellent. Also, I guess I could be more selective about putting out this Zoom link. Like right now, I just have it posted in the chat, so anyone who comes on this screen on this stream can click on it. But if I wanted to be more selective, I could like direct message it to someone in their Facebook account or their email.
Hmm.
And but right now, I'm not really concerned about that. Maybe in the future, if I start getting people come on who I don't want to, trolls or something, then
Yeah.
I'll go to a more direct message.
Right.
I hope I don't give anyone ideas. Um, I guess it's too late now. Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
But um, I guess there is, oh, actually, there's another way I might be able to screen people before they show up on Zoom, which is through chat. Like if I interact through the Zoom chat, I guess if I haven't admitted someone yet, I don't know if I can chat with the person. Um, well, maybe that's something for me to try another
You can
time
set up a waiting room on your Zoom room,
where
and
I can actually
people while
chat with the
people are in
person.
yeah, you can set up like a little waiting room in your Zoom room where it will the it will under participants it will say waiting room, and it will give names of people with their avatars or letters in your waiting room in your participants window, and you can chat to everybody who it's like a broadcast message thing
Hmm.
where that's waiting in the waiting room, but you can't I don't think you can talk to individuals in the waiting room, and they cannot respond to you.
Okay, you can just do a broadcast chat.
yeah, like something like we'll be with you shortly or something like that, you know. It's really not it I don't I don't know when I'd use it myself, but um it's just
Okay.
something that can be done.
Okay. So that's good to know. I guess I can't do like a video chat with somebody in the waiting room, to your knowledge. That's
No.
okay. Yeah, maybe it suffices to just be able to do a little text chat. I guess if I did that, I could put a link to somewhere else, like to Facebook, and maybe I could do like I could do a oh yeah, actually I could do through Messenger. Facebook Messenger has a video
Oh, yes, they
ask.
do.
So if I get someone in the Zoom chats and I say, here's a link to Facebook, or I could give them my link to Facebook, and then I could do a little um, face to face with them on Facebook. And then if that seems okay, then I could bring them over to Zoom, or I guess I could admit them from the waiting room
Mhm.
on Zoom. So
Yeah.
I guess I guess I'm my own call screener. See, I don't have somebody else screening my calls.
Yeah. If that doesn't work out, you can remove people. That is, you have the option of putting people back in the waiting room and letting them leave on their own, because the longer they'll sit in there, they'll probably get bored and leave. Or you can remove them, which will keep them from rejoining your Zoom room for 24 hours.
Hmm. Okay. Just want to see what other options appear on this menu that so under yeah, next to the mute button, there's a drop-down menu with some options. View profile, mute, stop video, chat, pin, make host, rename, put in waiting room. Oh yeah, that's the one you were talking about. Put in waiting room, and then remove and report. Okay. Um, do you mind if I try this? The put you back in the waiting room and then see if I can bring you back out?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna click on that. Just a moment. Put in waiting room. Okay. Now it says Carol S. Kansas has entered the waiting room, and now I'm going to admit you. So hopefully you'll be back in a second. And you're back. Okay,
Okay.
great. All right. Well, thank you for helping me test all these things.
Oh, you're welcome.
Is there anything you wanted to chat about aside from helping me test out this technical stuff while you're up here?
I would like to ask you to tell me what the word teleological means.
Teleological. Okay. That means having to do with ends, and I'll elaborate on that. So I guess a more the noun form of the word would just be teleology,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess means something like the study of ends in relation to means, like something is a means to an end.
Okay.
It comes from the Greek word telos, and that was the Greek word for end or goal,
Mm-hmm.
something you're aiming at. I think I'm not a Greek scholar. Um, I just know a few words from Greek philosophy that are very important. And
Yeah.
so it comes from the word telos, which means end. So
Yeah.
the um, this comes up often in the context of ethics or even biology. So um, like every living thing has a telos, something it's aiming at.
Mm-hmm.
Like a bird is aiming at certain things, like being able to catch worms, being able to fly. A fish is telos. What is its ends? What is its goal, or what is it aiming at? Well, maybe eating smaller fish or learning how to swim. Maybe it doesn't have to learn it, but whatever some organism has to, or whatever it aims at, whatever it's going after, that's its telos. And
Ah.
for human
Okay.
beings, uh, you might think if you're in the Aristotle's tradition or Ayn Rand that the telos for human beings is happiness. That's the ultimate thing that human beings are trying to achieve in life, or should be
Should
trying to
be.
achieve. I guess that's a controversial issue. What should be the end that human beings are aiming at? Should you be living for your own self-interests, or should you be living for others? Should your telos be maximizing others' well-being? If you're an altruist, you might think, well, my telos should be to maximize the well-being of others rather than my own well-being or my own happiness. So,
That's something
th
that Kant would have liked, I think. From the little I know about Kant, he would have said, your telos is to live for others and not think of yourself at all, sort of.
definitely more so is more likely that he would think that than that you should live for your own well-being, because I think he was raised as a Christian, but he developed an ethics of his own, well, a whole philosophy of his own, but I think it was used to, you might say, be a rationalization for Christianity because he didn't want to have an ethics just based on faith. He wanted to give a rational account. Now, was it
Uh,
actually a rational account? We can dispute that, but I think he
yeah.
wanted to give some kind of reasoning for an ethics that looked like, or at least looked closer to Christianity than an ethics of self-interest.
Uh,
He talked about duty a lot. That was a big part of his philosophy. Um, Doing your duty because it's your duty, not because it somehow benefits you. Um, that would be that would taint the motivation of someone's action. Like if the reason you are doing something is because it benefits you, that's morally corrupt on Kant's view, or maybe it's just amoral. It has no moral significance. Um, but if you're doing it just because it's your duty, not because it benefits you, then your action has moral worth. So I'm not a
yeah,
Kant scholar, and it's been a long time since I've read or studied Kant, but I think his view is something along those lines in that
yeah.
ballpark.
I took an introductory philosophy class a long time ago, and we had to read. We had a one of those anthology books that introductory classes have, where you have readings that are excerpts from larger works by various people.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we read something from Kant, and I I did not like it. I don't remember what it was from Critique of Pure Reason. I remember that,
Oh,
but I don't remember what that passage was talking about because I found it hard to read, one, and two, what I got from it did not make me very happy. And this was roughly 5 years after I'd read several of Ayn Rand's novels. And I was I was going, hey, this is not like Ayn Rand. This is different. And this doesn't sound good to me, so good to me. And so I decided not to go on taking philosophy classes.
hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a different universe. Kant is compared to objectivism, and much harder to read, I would say. I think Kant is notoriously um, difficult to comprehend. He has these long, convoluted sentences.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And it just makes, also, I mean, like from what you said about teleology, it seems to me that you have to think of your own self-interest first. It's like putting on the oxygen mask in an airplane when you're having an airplane crash or something. You have to take care of yourself to help you take care of other people.
That's a common example that's used to illustrate what self-interest is. I actually have a video about that on my channel.
Hmm.
just about the oxygen mask sort of case. I think
Oh,
it it depends on how exactly you understand that as to whether it illustrates what might be called rational self-interest.
hmm.
Like if the reason you're putting your own mask on first is so that you could help others, and you take helping others to be like the ultimate end of your life, the be all and end all, what it's all for, then I think that's at odds with egoism. So the reason to
Ah,
help yourself is not so that you can make someone else's life go better. It's because it makes your own life go better.
yeah,
Um,
I see. Yeah, because you want to live with in the case of a literal oxygen mask, and you want to have your life have a good outcome.
yeah, your own happiness is the ultimate reason for doing
Yeah,
something, and that doesn't mean um, not helping others because it could be in your own interest. It could help your own life go well to help others. Like
yeah,
if your child is the one who's next to you on the plane, your life is certainly going to go better if your child does not die.
right.
So you you put your own mask on so that you're able to help your child, not as an end in itself, but because he's part of your life and he's a value or she is a value to you. And
Hmm.
it ultimately comes back to your own values. And I think if you're a
Yeah,
normal, rational parents, your child matters to you and it's a value to you. And so it's in your interest, your own interest to help the child. So
yeah.
it's self-interested. I see I don't know what time zone you're in. It's 5:56 here where I am, and I think it's been not quite an hour. Maybe I've been going on, let's see, I've been streaming for how long now? About 45 minutes,
Hmm.
looks like. So maybe I'll do an hour-ish today. So I'll stick around for a few more minutes. Let me just say, if anyone else out there is interested in coming on, there's a link in the chat which you can click on. And I guess if I've got you as if you're currently on and someone else clicks on that link, it'll probably just produce a pop-up that says someone else is in the waiting room. Um,
Yeah, it should do that.
yeah, so I don't think I need to remove you in order to create space in the waiting room. So um, we can keep you on here as long as you'd like. So you're interest you have some interest in Ayn Rand, I guess. And
Hmm.
anything else about any other questions you have or anything else you want to say about yourself to introduce yourself to me or my audience?
I just want to say that I discovered Ayn Rand after I discovered Alexander Solzhenitsyn.
Okay.
And I did not know about um, her attitude toward him at the time. And I don't want to bring that up. I don't think it's germane. What I, at that age, what I really got from it was that the Russian Revolution was a horrible thing. And reading Atlas Shrugged, I was seeing that things were happening in the novel that were happening in Soviet history.
Hmm.
And that really pushed me more toward capitalism and more toward freedom than I was getting from like from my environment around me. And it was a year of a lot of big mental changes for me.
So
And
sorry.
that's all I have to
I
say.
I was just trying to place you in time. So uh, you s- you were 13. That's pretty young actually for
Yeah.
reading Atlas Shrugged. I don't think I would have been able to
I
understand
wasn't
it
able
at
I
the
wasn't able to get through John Galt's radio speech.
yeah, that's a lot of people they actually skip that
Yeah.
because they want to get through the plots and um, so, you're you were 13, so this would have
It
been
was 1974.
74. Okay, so this was I guess Nixon was Nixon still in office, or was Ford did Ford take over? Because it was 74, I believe, was the year when Nixon resigned,
Yeah.
and but
Eh,
anyways, around that time. Okay.
Yeah, around that time was when Nixon resigned and Ford came in. The whole Watergate thing was like my big disillusionment toward politics.
Mm.
And I was disillusioned for decades after that because I thought politicians were good people who did things for the benefit of everybody. And seeing that they possibly weren't, um, did not make me happy at the time. And I've heard lately that I've seen on YouTube videos where people are talking about how Nixon may have been framed,
Mm.
which is very interesting and more convoluted government stuff that I really want to think about right now,
I
not
wonder
for
if
the purposes of
that's
this conversation.
yeah. I wonder if that's like a conspiracy fantasy as opposed to conspiracy theory. Um, like,
Yeah, I don't know.
um, yeah, I haven't seen that one. Um, there was there was some commentary Ayn Rand wrote on the Watergate issue, which
Mhm.
I don't know if I've read it, or maybe she's commented in more than one article about it, but I know there's at least one article. I guess this would have been in the Ayn Rand letter. She had a
Yeah,
newsletter
the newsletter.
yeah, in the 70s, which
Hmm.
so if this yeah, so that was in 74. She was running the Ayn Rand letter from I think 71 to 76, sometime in there.
Hmm.
Actually, yeah. Actually, I think it was September of 71 when she opened it because if I'm remembering correctly, before that she had The Objectivist. That was the name
Hmm.
of her publication.
Yeah,
And before that was the Objectivist newsletter, which was her first nonfiction periodical. But yeah, in the 70s, from 71 to 76, she was publishing the Ayn Rand letter. So yeah, so Watergate would have been right in the middle of that, 74. So I guess it was in the Ayn Rand letter. But then some of those articles that she wrote in her publications were anthologized in her books, like Capitalism, the Unknown Ideal,
yeah.
in The Virtue of Selfishness, Philosophy, Who Needs It. So I don't know if her article on Watergate came out in any of those. I My guess is not, but maybe someone will correct me. But I know she at least mentioned Nixon in her philosophy who needs it.
Hmm.
That was actually the first collection by Ayn Rand that I read. The very first thing I ever read was Philosophy Who Needs It.
Ah.
And in that the title essay,
Hmm.
there's a reference to Nixon. I think I think it's in connection to she's illustrating these catchphrases like what may be true for you isn't true for me.
Hmm.
And then she'll say, "Oh, you got this from such and such, like David Hume or Immanuel Kant." So the point of that section of the speech is to show that everyone has a philosophy and holds philosophic ideas, whether they realize or not where they came from in the history of philosophy. So she connects these catchphrases, which have currency and public discourse, and she shows that um, there are actually philosophers behind this. So you can't escape
Ah, yeah,
philosophy.
yeah.
The only question is, whether you have a clear, consistent philosophy that you're in control over, or you're just kind of absorbing it from the culture that you're a part of, but you can't avoid philosophy. So everyone needs it, and your life will go much better, the argument goes, if you come up with, if you gain conscious control over your philosophy.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I think it was in that context of catchphrases she mentions what may be
Hmm.
true for you isn't true for me, or I don't remember what the others are. Just because it worked for, the people in the past doesn't mean it's still going to work. Um, like and people might use this argument to say the Constitution is out of date. It's like over 200 years old. We got to do something more progressive and new.
We need to have a living document.
Yeah, something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think she uses Nixon to illustrate one of those catchphrases. I wonder if
Mm.
I can maybe I can find it on Google real quick. Um, Let me see if I can, because I know some of the articles are available for free online, and
Huh.
I know that Philosophy Who Needs It is one of those. Um, but I just don't know if I can do I don't know if it's searchable so that I could just do a keyword search on it and then I could quickly find the um, the quote I'm looking for. Uh, let's see if I put in. I know it's on the Ayn Rand Institute website,
Mhm.
the Google. So if I put that in the Google search, here we go. I just found the article links. So now the only question is it going to let me search on Nixon? Yes, I found it. Okay, so here it looks like there's two paragraphs with these. Um,
Mhm.
okay, I'll just read these two paragraphs then.
You know, what you can do while you're reading is
Oh,
you
screen
know,
share?
you can screen share it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should do that. Um, okay, let me try that. Okay, let me go back to Zoom and then where's the share button? More share. Here we go. Share screen options. Advanced sharing options. Because I only want it to show a particular. Oh, that's saying who do I want to share? Host only, all participants. Okay, that's not what I want. I think I need to click.
There should be a green button in your menu bar
Yeah, I
to
found it now.
share.
Okay, now it's asking me which part to share. I just need to choose this one. Okay. Um, I think I got what I needed. All right, I'm going to say share this, share. All right, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see your screen now.
Okay, great. So this is the paragraph from the article Philosophy Who Needs It
Mhm.
on, on the Ayn Rand Institute website. And here's the passage I had in mind. She writes, quote, "You might claim, as most people do, that you have never been influenced by philosophy. I will ask you to check that claim. Have you ever thought or said the following? Don't be sure. Don't be so sure. Nobody can be certain of anything. You got that notion from David Hume and many, many others, even though you might never have heard of him. Or, this may be good in theory, but it doesn't work in practice. You got that from Plato. Or, that was a rotten thing to do, but it's only human. Nobody is perfect in this world. You got that from Augustine. Or, it may be true for you, but it's not true for me. You got it from William James. He's a pragmatist. I
Mhm.
guess that was the one I was remembering before.
Yeah.
Or, I couldn't help it. Nobody can help anything he does. You got it from Hegel. Uh, I'm not sure why. Maybe he's some kind of determinist. Okay, but anyways, going on. Or, I can't prove it, but I feel that it's true. You got it from Kant. Or, it's logical, but logic has nothing to do with reality. You got it from Kant. Or, it's evil because it's selfish. You got it from Kant. Have you ever heard the modern activists say, act first, think afterward? They got it from John Dewey. And then here's the next paragraph with the, I think this is, yeah, this is the one with the Nixon in it.
Hmm.
Some people might answer, sure, I've said those things at different times, but I don't have to believe that stuff all the time, all of the time. It may have been true yesterday, but it's not true today. They got it from Hegel. They might say, consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. They got it from a very little mind, Emerson. They might say, but can't one compromise and borrow different ideas from different philosophies according to the expediency of the moment? They got it from Richard Nixon, who got it from William James. Okay,
Okay.
so I forgot that part there, that Nixon was a middle step between him and William James,
Hmm.
but yeah, that would make sense because if the point of this is to trace things back to philosophers, we'd show how Nixon, a politician, gets his idea from a philosopher, James. He was also a psychologist, but
Yeah.
in philosophy, he was a pragmatist who I don't know much about actually as a pragmatist. I would like to learn more about him. But I guess Richard Nixon has a eclectic philosophy, different ideas from different philosophies according to the expediency of the moments. Yeah, so I would like to understand the reference here better if
Hmm.
and learn more about Nixon to see exactly how that applies. But anyways,
Yeah.
um, that's the quote I had in mind. All right, I'm going to stop the screen share now. Let me see if I can
There, there
stop.
should be, you should have a little menu
Oh, here we go.
bar
Here we go. I
on
just
your,
found it.
yeah,
Okay.
there we go.
All right, excellent. Back to, oh, what is this? History. I just want to see what else I had up here. Okay. Okay. So, tried a lot of new things today, and why isn't this window? Oh, there we go. I got this window out of my way. All right. Now, where's the chat window I wanted? Okay. Now I can see my chat again, and see we got 4 people here right now. And all right, now we're back to the way it was. At least things look the same now on my end before I started the screen sharing.
Good.
Okay. All right, it's 6:11 now my time, so I'm going to wrap this up. Any last things you wanted to say here in the last minute or so, Carol, before I let you go?
Oh, thank you very much for your time. And I hope I've helped you get more comfortable with using Zoom.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
thank you very
I
much for the philosophical discussion.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad you came on, and this is an excellent example of the kinds of conversations I want to have on live stream now, and not just pre-recorded conversations. So, for anyone out there who sees this, feel free to come on as well in a future live stream. And it can be different formats. Like we could do a debate if you wanted to debate something, or we could just have a conversation like this. Um, so I'm open to different possibilities. So special thanks to Carol for coming on today. And I'm going to now see if I can stop the or I guess if I hit remove now, that'll take you out of the
Oh, I can just leave.
or
I
you
have
can
a
just
leave.
do yeah,
I have a leave button.
I'll let you leave.
Okay.
Yeah, so whenever you're ready.
Thank you.
So thanks again for coming on.
Good night.
Good night. All right. Carol is now back in just the chat, I guess. And I'm going to wrap this up now. So thanks everyone for coming on to watch the live stream, or thanks for viewing it later if you come by this later. And I will be doing more live streams in the future. Don't know exactly what my schedule is going to be. I wanted to do it a little earlier this time. I did it, my first 3 live streams were later, like 9, 10 p.m. Pacific time, which is probably too late for a lot of people. So maybe this is a better time for a lot of viewers. But you can let me know. Of course, if you're in Australia or some other place, maybe late US time is a good time for you. But I would guess most of my viewers are in the US. But feel free to make suggestions if you like. And maybe within the next few days, I'll do another live stream roughly around this time. We'll see. So I'm going to keep you on your toes right now. Um, but there will be more live streams. And if you subscribe, you will get a notification like Carol got. She got a push notification. So I guess that will maximize your chances. And also, you can follow me on Facebook and X. Sometimes I put announcements out there. So I guess I'll leave it there for now. So thanks again for coming by. And oh, it looks like Carol entered the waiting room again. Maybe she wanted to add something. Let me see if I can bring her back on and see what she has to say. Unless she accidentally hit the uh, hey, you want to come back on?
Yeah, I don't know how you were playing the beginning of mm, when I first appeared with you on your Zoom room, but I came back here to tell you that that was me at the beginning of our talk together. And I don't, maybe somebody recorded it, and I don't know what was happening. It was something very strange.
I'm confused. Do you mean when you
Oh
when
my.
you when you left the Zoom call just a few minutes ago?
Yeah, I left the Zoom call and I went to back to YouTube. I was going to go to another area of YouTube, but I saw you were there, and then you said that I was back in your Zoom room,
Oh, I just meant you were back in the chat.
back in the chat. Oh, okay.
And that might
Oh,
have been a mistake. I don't know if you were back in the chat.
no,
Um,
I was back in the chat,
okay. Yeah,
but I
yeah.
didn't intend to do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I should have been more clear. I just meant you were no longer in the Zoom, but you were back in the just the live chat on YouTube. Um, so sorry about the confusion there.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, good night.
Okay. Good night. All right. So now I know how to be more clear when somebody leaves. Just make clear. So now Carol might be back in the YouTube chat, but is no longer in the Zoom call. She could be in neither, but she's not in both. Okay. All right. So I'm going to wrap this up, and thanks for coming by. If you could like the stream, if you actually liked it, then I'd appreciate that. That'll help me in the algorithm. If you could subscribe, or at least consider subscribing, I would appreciate that as well if you're not already a subscriber. And I will see you perhaps. I will be on another on another live stream. Perhaps you will be. I'll see you all on another live stream. All right. Have a good night, everyone.